No, we are going to go with this one today. Uh, I just wanted to wind up this chapter, so that is the reason I'm just going with the explanation of this particular problem, wherein he has given information related to the 1 year for the year 81, and he was asking us to estimate for the next year. That is for the end by the end of 31st of March, he was there asking us to find out estimation for the one more output. So how we are going to do it, and for that, what are the conditions are to be applied? That is the one he has given. So the question goes on the screen. If you want, please take a screenshot of this one. So question goes on as Bharat Cooling Manufacturers Limited manufactured and sold 1,000 coolers. Please remember, we are whatever the data it is given for 1,000 coolers in the year ending 31st March 1981. The summarized trading and profit and loss account is set below. So this is one he has given. So this is for the March 31st, 1981. So he gave us the cost of material, the direct wages, manufacturing cost, then sales he has mentioned. Sales also he only mentioned us. Next, the next one he has given us, the next is P&L, wherein management and staff salaries he mentioned us, then rent rates, insurance, then selling expenses, general expenses he has mentioned us. Then what is the other data he has given is for the year ending 31st March 1981, it is estimated that the output and the sales will be 1,200 coolers. So this is estimation. What is the above data he gave is regarding the what we have done. And 1,000 coolers data what he gave, and he is telling that we are estimating to go for producing 1,200 coolers it seems. And for that, what is the conditions? First one, price will rise by 20% on the previous year level itself. So next, price will rise means obviously it is on the materials. Then wages also will rise by 5%, it seems. Then he gave manufacturing cost will rise in proportion to combined cost of material and wages. What is that combined cost of materials and wages? It is nothing but prime cost. When I add my wages and materials, that is said to be my prime cost. And then he gave us what? He gave us selling cost per unit will remain unchanged. Please remember, selling cost per unit will remain unchanged, it seems. Other expenses will remain unaffected by rise in the output. So keep it in mind, other expenses. So materials will change, wages is going to change, and manufacturing cost, it is going to be taken on the percentage of prime cost because he only mentioned, whereas selling expenses cost per unit is going to be the same, it seems, and other expenses also will remain the same. There will be no change in a single penny. So they are asking, prepare a cost statement showing the price at which coolers would be marked so as to show a profit of 10% on selling price. But 10% not on a total cost is asking 10% on a selling price. So this is a formula now. So we are going to go for preparing it. Okay. So now I'm going to go with preparing about. So now I'm going to go for preparing. As usual, he gave me the older data. So first, using the older data, I'm going to go for preparing the cost sheet regarding 31st March. And then what we can estimate that we are going to find out later on. So first, I'm going to go for preparing whatever the data he has mentioned. I'm converting it into the cost sheet data. So that first I'm going to do it. So let's begin by drawing the lines for the cost sheet. So here my cost sheet begins with so now I have got my cost sheet. So this is for cost sheet for 1,000 coolers. So this is what he has asked us, and he already has mentioned me the info. I need not find out anything. He only has mentioned me the data, what I am supposed to find out. So that is the reason I'm just uploading it into the cost format, particulars, and this gonna be a amount column. So how we are going to begin with? First, we are going to always go with our materials. So materials, how much he gave us? Materials, he gave us some 80,000. Now here for especially when he said selling cost per unit will remain same, he said. So I don't know what is the selling cost per unit. So what I'm going to do it here, better I go for preparing one more box for my cost per unit so that it is going to be easy for me. I need not go for double drawing again. So that's the reason I'm going to go for finding out my cost per unit, and everything I'm going to divide with 1,000 coolers, everything, because how many we are producing? 1,000. So that is the reason I'm going to divide everything with 1,000 units. So here, this is my CPU. So CPU for 1,000 coolers. So everything I'm going to multiply with 1,000 coolers. Okay. So here I'll go with this one. So here 80,000 divided by, when I do 1,000, how much I'm going to get it? I'm going to get it around 80 rupees. So this is the way if I find it out, it is going to be easy. Why? Because I have, he only asked me that cost of selling expenses is going to be same. So to make my job much more easier, I'm doing in this format. Now next one, labor or direct wages he gave. Direct wages he has given. So direct wages, he gave us 1,20,000. So 1,20,000 again divided by 1,000, it is equal to 120. So this one I have got it. Now when I add these two things, material and direct wages, what is that we are going to call this one? We are going to call this one as prime cost. So prime cost, how much I'm going to get it? Prime cost, I'm going to get it 2 lakhs. So 2 lakhs again, if I'm going to, every penny I'm going to divide it. So 2 lakhs again divided by 1,000, it is going to be 200. Later on, I'm going to draw the lines, but as of now, you just go with this. So after this one, we are going to go with taking up, what is that? Factory overheads. So here factory overheads, what he gave, manufacturing cost. So factory overheads, he gave us manufacturing cost. So that he gave us manufacturing cost. Manufacturing cost he gave us. So how much he gave us manufacturing cost? 50,000 he has mentioned. 50,000 again divided by 1,000 is equal to 50. Now this is done. Now this one we are going to call is what? We are going to call as factory cost or works cost. So we are going to call this one factory or works cost. So how much I'm going to get it? I'm going to get it 2,50,000. And again, this is also again divided when I'm going to get it 250 rupees. Now to this one, I'm going to add is what? I'm going to add my admin expenses, administration expenses. So admin expenses, he gave us staff salaries. Admin expenses, what he gave? Staff salaries. So staff salaries, how much he has given us? Staff salaries, he has given us some 60,000, and he has given rent rates, insurance, all these things he has mentioned me. So that is the reason what I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it into the inner column. That is staff and management salary. He gave me around 60,000. Instead of finding separate, I'm trying to find out in a simplified manner. So that is the reason. Rent And insurance. I'm going with how much he gave me rent and insurance, around 10,000 he has given. Then I'm going with general expenses. Selling expenses will not come here. Selling will go to the next level. So you know it, right? So general expenses, he gave me around 20,000. So total together, it is going to be 60 plus 10 is equal to 70. 70 plus 20 is equal to 90. So total of my admin expenses he gave me 90,000. So 90,000 again divided by 1,000 units, it is going to be 90 rupees. So this is the way I got my next level expenditure. So total of this one, we are going to call it as what now? We are going to call it as cost of production. The cost of production is equal to how much we got it? We got around 3,40,000. So 3,40,000 again divided by same 1,000. So 340, I'm going to get it. This is done. After this, now I'm going to add my selling expenses. So selling expenses is equal to how much he gave? Selling expenses, he gave me around 30,000. So when I divide again with the 1,000, it is going to be 30 rupees. So this is the way I have got my all my expenses. And here, luckily, he only mentioned us what is the profit also. I need not find out here that also. So I'm just going with this one enter. And next, as I have got space, I'm making it a little bit clear. Factory. Let it be the factory. Here, I'm going to make it gap. Yeah, this is done. And cost of production, after cost of production and the gap, I'm keeping it. Now, after this one, I'm going to go with what? Selling expenses. So once we got a selling expenses, whatever we got it, we call this one as our total cost. So total cost, we are going to get to this one when I'm going to add 3,40,000 to this one. If I'm adding, I will be getting 3,70,000, and same again it is divided, then it is going to be 370. Then he only mentioned as profit. We need not find out about it. So when I got to know about my profit, I'm just entering it so that it will be very clear for us. So profit. So profit is equal to, he only mentioned as the profit also, that is 30,000. So when I divide again with 1,000, then it is going to be 30 rupees profit. So therefore, my sales is equal to 4 lakhs, which is cost is 400 rupees. So this is what is the data he gave. I'm just using my data and I got to know about this one. This is the total information which he has mentioned us. So just we are marking our lines now so that it is going to be easy for you people. So here my first prime cost, which is a total of this one. Then I got my works or a factory cost, which is again a total of adding this one. Then I got all these three things. I have added it. So when I have added it, I got this much. And after adding this one, I got a total of this one. So here, this is called cost of production, I said. And to this one, when I have added my selling expenses, I got to know my total cost, which is 3,70,000. So this is, we are going to call it as total cost. And to this one, we have added what? Profit, which he only mentioned as, I need not find out because he only mentioned me. So when I'm going to add my total cost with my profits, I got my sales as 4 lakhs. So this is the given data. I didn't find out anything extra. He just mentioned me everything. I'm just finding it out, not more than I'm doing anything. I'm just finding it out. That's it. I'm not doing anything extra. I just got to know about it, how it has to be done. So I just got to rearrange it in a very proper manner in my cost sheets. Now the question is, these whatever he gave, it was for 1,000 coolers. Now he's asking, please find out the data if it was supposed to be for 1,200 coolers. So before getting into the statements, why not we go for, if any percentages I need to make up, that will be easy for me if I go for doing my percentages. So that is the reason. Now, when I go with my price level, he said just 20% will rise and for wages, 5% will rise. Why he said like that? That we are going to check it up later on. Then manufacturing cost will rise in the proportion to combined cost of material and wages, is it? So manufacturing cost means here it was there. See, manufacturing cost means this one. These we have to find out itself on what usually factory expenses until now we were calculating directly only on one value as a wages. But I said until he doesn't mention, you will find out always on a wages. But here what happened? He mentioned us to change the method. What he said? Manufacturing cost will rise in proportion to combined cost of material and wages. Material and wages combined cost, how much it will be? 2 lakhs. So on 2 lakhs, he's asking to find out a manufacturing cost. So how I'm going to do it up? We know manufacturing cost 50,000. We know prime cost 2 lakhs. So 50 divided by 2 lakhs, it is going to be how much now? It is going to be the percentage we are going to get. So now for that one, I'm trying to find out, that is percentage of manufacturing cost on prime cost. So my formula is equal to, it is going to be how much? Manufacturing cost divided by prime cost, and that will be multiplied with 100. So here I'm going to go with underlining this one so that it will be easy for me. So here I'm underlining it. So here manufacturing cost divided by the prime cost multiplied with 100. Multiplied with 100. So now substitute the values. Prime cost, we know it. How much is the prime cost? We said just now 50,000. And divided by, manufacturing cost is 50,000. Prime cost is 2 lakhs. So these will be divided with the 100. How much it is going to be? We are going to find it out. So this is my division I'm making. And this one I'm just making the cross as a into, so that it will be easy for me to find out. So then multiplied by 100, please find it out how much you are going to get it. You are going to get it around 50 divided by 2 lakhs is equal to, you are going to get 25% on prime cost. So this is the one, the main one we have completed it. When it comes to the profit, I'm going to explain you one more thing. So I'm going to come back to this one once again. So before that one, we'll get into the new statement wherein we have to prepare it. So one thing I got 25% on prime cost. What is my manufacturing overhead say? It is 25% of prime cost. So now I'm taking a new page and I'm going to go for preparing it. So what is a new page? I'm going to prepare it. So here new statement I'm going to draw for our one more statement. So here I'm drawing my new statement. Let me draw on this side. If any calculations are left over, I can do it on this part. It is going. So here I'm going to find out Yeah. Yeah, I need not find out any condition of knowing about a cost profit. So that is the reason I'm not finding any gross profit. So here I'm going with my new cost sheet method. So we are going to call this one as what? Cost cost sheet for how many coolers? 1200 units or coolers. We will write it down. So this is one thing. Then I'm going to call here it as particulars. Then it is my amount. Where is my cost sheet vendor? Where's that heading is going? And I'm writing and heading is going. Okay, fine. So fine, we will write whatever is given. Now here, the first one as usual in the same order we are going to prepare it. So first one is a material. Materials, how much we the earlier we have prepared it. Why we have made a cost per unit? Because he said the cost per unit is going to be the same. So if any changes are there, you're going to make a changes. So just check it out the changes what he has made it. So here the changes are for 1,000 units, whatever we got a cost per unit, the same I'm going to go with it. So a materials cost per unit, how much we got? 80 rupees. So the same 80 I can consider for this one also, no? So that is the reason I'm going with this one as, but this time the units will change. 1,200 units multiplied by 80 per unit. So when I'm going to multiply, it is going to be how much? You can calculate it 1,200 into 80. It is going to be 96,000 it is going to be. So 96,000 is fine. But in the question, he said the price will rise 20% on the previous year level, he said. So on this one, if I'm going to calculate, I'm going to have a change. So I'm getting a 19,260 plus 96,250 if I'm going to do it. Now, when I'm multiplying 1,200 plus into 80, I'll be getting an answer as 96,000. But 96,000 is not right price. He said 20% there is a rise in the price. So 96,000 into again a 20% you're going to do it. That is, I'm just adding here plus 20%. So if you're going to do that 20%, you are going to get around the value 1,15,260. So how I got this one, I'm just telling you people, it is, I got 96,000 plus when I have added a 20%, I got some 19,260. So that's how when I have added, I got this figure. Hope it is clear. So now this is my materials is done. Now I'm going with my wages. So wages, I'm going to find it out in the same manner. Now for the wages, did he said anything? Direct wages, did he said anything? It means yes, wages will rise by 5%. First of all, I should know what is the wages cost per unit, no? So when I go back here, my direct wages per unit I got is 120 rupees. So first I have to find out what is that. 120 rupees into how many units we got? 1,200 units. So that I'm going to find it out first. First, I'm going to multiply that. So therefore, direct wages is equal to 1,200 units multiplied with 120 units plus how much it is rising, he said? He said that it will be rising 5%. So that 5% I'm going to. So how much I'm going to get it? If I'm while multiplying it, I'm going to get around 151, 200. So how I got that 151 into 200 is when I have multiplied 1200 into 120, I got around 144,000. On this, again, 5% when I have done it, I got around this much. That is 7, sorry, plus no, plus 7,200. So these two, if I have added, I got 1,51,200. So this is how I got these additions. So this is how I'm done with my wages. Now, whatever we get the answer, we are going to call as again a term called prime cost. So when I add these two figures, I'm going to get a prime cost around 2,66,400. Now this is done. Now once I'm going to go with this one, he said me that the manufacturing cost is a combination of prime cost, and we have got a percentage also. How much percentage we got it? We got a prime cost percentage. Just now we have done this one. See. Manufacturing cost is a combination of material with a labor wages means it's a prime cost. So we have calculated a new percentage with 25%. So the same thing I can apply here, no, 25%. So that's what I'm applying here. Now my manufacturing cost, which is my factory overheads. Manufacturing cost is nothing but my factory overheads. So manufacturing cost, which is 25% on prime cost. So prime cost is how much, ma? Prime cost is some 2,66,400 I got. So on this one, if I'm going to calculate prime cost, just calculate 2,66,400 into 25%. If you're going to do it, you're going to get around 66,600. I'm going to get it. So this how I got it. Now the next one is we are going to get the totals, and the totals we are going to call it as what? Works cost. Works cost, I got the total around 3,33,000. So this is done. Now next one I'm going to add with my administration expenses. So admin expenses. In these admin expenses, what did he said regarding admin expenses? So he said for admin expenses, the other expenses will remain unchanged, he said. Selling expenses also, there will be no change, he said. And as well as for the other expenses also, he said there will be a no change in that one. So that is the reason what I'm going to do. Simply, I'm going to take into consideration the same expenses what he has mentioned or he has given me. The other expenses will not affect selling expenses. Cost per unit will remain changed same, he said. But whereas for other expenses means we are left over with management staff salaries, rent, insurance, and general expenses. Those three will be unchanged. Means he didn't said about cost per unit, ma. He said unchanged means as it is. How much we had with this one? We had admin 60, rent 10, general expenses 20. The same expenses will be carried forward for this one also. That is what his meaning means. So that's why I'm going to go with taking the same thing into consideration. So what is my admin or a staff salary is? Salary is equal to, he gave me 60,000. So after this one, next we have got is what? Rent and insurance. So rent, comma, insurance, he gave us how much? 10,000. Then he gave me what? General expenses. Expenses, which are 20,000, he has mentioned. So after adding all these things, my outside total is equal to, it is going to be how much? 90,000. So that 90,000, I'm going to take it as it is. So please, I'm reading a sentence once again. I'm telling you the difference. Selling expenses cost per unit will remain unchanged, he said. But whereas sixth point, other expenses will remain unaffected by rise in the output, he said. Means whether the output is changing or not, we are least bothered. The administration, rent, insurance, general expenses will remain unchanged itself. They will not have any effect with any kind of the change in output or anything. So these are like nothing but the fixed expenses. That is the reason they will be remain unchanged. Now this is done. So once I got to know about this one, the next one I'm going to call this one as my cost of production. So what is the total? We are going to call it as cost of production, which is equal to, I'm going to get around 4,23,000. So this is done. Now the last one we are going to add is what? Our selling expenses I'm going to add. So selling expenses, how much is it? Selling expenses also, there will be no change in cost per unit, he said. So that is the reason. Selling expenses, again, I'll multiply 1,200 units at the rate of how much we got, we'll see in the next page. So selling expenses, I got around 30,000. So that I'm taking it. I'll show you how I got. So this will be around 36,000. So how I got it, I'll show you from the previous page. So just check it out. The selling expenses cost per unit, how much is it? 30 rupees. And here what this fellow has told as a point, selling expenses cost per unit will remain unchanged. Means it will not change. 30, it will remain 30 only. That is the reason 1,200 coolers into 30 rupees, I have multiplied it. So I got 36,000. So once I total this one, what is that we are going to call this one? We are going to call it as total cost. Total cost, which is equal to 4,59,000. I got it. Now, until here, it is clear. Now, here the question is, if that fellow would have told me the profit is 10% on total cost, I would have find it out directly. But this fellow, he didn't give me directly. What he said, the profit is 10% on selling price itself. What he gave for the point, he said, again, this is a working notes for my profits. So he told me that the percentage 10% profit on selling price is it. This is what he said. We know cost price, but we don't know selling price. But we have a formula, no? So what is the assumption we are going to make it? Let assume selling price. Whatever he gives a percentage, but that we can assume as what? 100, because percentage, no? So therefore, we know the formula of selling price. What is the formula for a selling price, ma? Selling price is equal to CP price plus profit. So selling price, just now we have got, it is 100 is equal to CP, I don't know. But I know profit percentage. How much is the profit percentage? 10 is my profit percentage. So therefore, my CP is equal to 100 minus 10. That is equal to 90 rupees is my CP. So this is, until here, it is very much clear for you. Now I can't find out my profit now? Now among 90%, which is my CP. CP means it is my total cost. So CP he gave us. What is the CP he gave? We got to know CP is how much? 4,59,000. So for 90, if it is 4,59,000, can't I find out for 10%? So that is a cross multiplication. We are going to find out. What is that we'll see? For 90, if it is how much it is? For 90, if it is 4,59,000, I want it only for how much more? I want it for 10. How much is for 10? That is a question mark we are going to put it. So I'm just putting a cross multiplication. So here I'm just crossing the lines for the cross multiplication. So here, here is going to be, and here it is going to be like this. It's a cross multiplication. So therefore, it is going to be calculated as 4,50,000 equal to 4,59,000 into, that is into 10, which is divided by 90. So therefore, you're going to get the answer is equal to 51,000. Okay. So let me draw the line so that it will be easy for you. So yeah, it is into and divided. So this is how we got this one. So let me draw here also. This is prime cost and this is total. This is works cost and this is total. And this is administration expenses and this is cost of production. And this is total cost. And just now what we got? We got our profit. So just now we got a profit, the same profit. I'm going to take it here. So profit is equal to, we got 51,000. Now how much is the profit we got? By cross multiplying, we got around 51,000. So when I'm going to add, therefore my sales is equal to the total cost plus profit. I'm going to add it, then it is going to be 5,10,000. So this is how we have found out the new quotation for our 1,200 coolers. So hope it is very much clear for you. If any doubts, you can ask me in the class. Okay, done. So please copy it or save it. Take a screenshots and complete this sum.